Maya had always been a girl who loved adventure. While most people her age were satisfied with city life, she felt a strong pull toward the unknown. The thought of discovering something hidden, of exploring a place that had stories embedded in its walls, excited her more than anything else. One rainy afternoon, she was scrolling through an online marketplace when something unusual caught her eye. A small house sat quietly by the edge of a lake, its image a mixture of charm and neglect. The paint was peeling, some windows were cracked, and the wooden shutters were uneven, as though the wind had played with them for years. The house was not grand, not luxurious, not even welcoming at first sight. Yet there was something in it that felt alive, as if it had been waiting for someone to notice it. The price, however, startled Maya the most. Only $700, Maya laughed softly to herself. A house by a lake for just $700 seemed impossible. The internet was full of mistakes, scams, or hidden dangers. But something in her heart whispered that this was her chance. She could feel it. It was strange, but she believed it. She picked up her phone and called her mother. "Mom, look at this," she said, holding the phone so her mother could see the listing. Her mother's face appeared on the screen, her brow furrowed. "Maya, this is strange. It looks abandoned. Are you sure you want to even consider it?" Maya nodded, though her mother could not see her. "It is cheap, yes, but it feels right. I have been saving some money, and even if it is a mistake, I can fix it. Mom, it is just $700. Her mother sighed, her eyes filled with concern. "Honey, I am not saying you cannot take risks, but this feels too unusual. Are you sure it is safe?" Maya smiled, trying to ease her mother's worries. "I will check it out myself." "It is a small adventure, Mom. Please trust me." After a long pause, her mother finally nodded. "Okay, Maya, but promise me you will be careful. Call me as soon as you arrive." Maya felt a wave of excitement. She had her mother's permission, and that made her feel braver. She immediately contacted the seller and completed the payment. The agreement was simple. She would take ownership of the property and could inspect it herself. The next morning, Maya packed her car with supplies. A backpack with essentials, a small toolbox, a flashlight, a notebook for observations, and some food for the day. She wanted to be prepared. The drive to the house was longer than she expected. Twisting roads through thick forests and small hills made her feel like she was entering another world. Her heart raced with anticipation. Finally, she saw the lake through the trees. The water was calm, reflecting the morning sun like a mirror. And there it was, the house. It sat quietly near the edge of the lake, its wooden frame slightly tilted as if it were bowing to the water. The shutters moved gently in the breeze, and the roof had patches that needed attention. Maya parked her car near the entrance and stepped out. The smell of old wood and damp earth filled the air. Maya felt a shiver run through her body, but it was not from fear. It was from excitement. She stepped closer, brushing her hand against the cracked railing. The house was larger than it appeared in the pictures, though worn and weathered. Each step she took on the porch creaked loudly, echoing through the empty surroundings. Maya opened the front door carefully. The hinges groaned and the smell of dust hit her immediately. The main room was simple but spacious. A fireplace stood at one corner, its bricks blackened from years of use. Old furniture was scattered, covered in white sheets that had yellowed over time. Cobwebs hung in corners and small insects crawled quietly on the wooden floor. "This is going to be interesting," Maya whispered to herself. She began exploring, walking through the small kitchen and dining area. Cabinets were empty, drawers stuck or broken, and the floorboards creaked with each step. She peeked into the bedrooms. They were small but had large windows facing the lake. Maya could imagine waking up in the morning to the sunlight reflecting on the water, birds flying by, and the quiet rustling of leaves. Maya noticed a narrow staircase leading to an attic. It was dark and the wooden steps looked fragile. She hesitated for a moment, feeling a little nervous, but curiosity won over fear. She climbed carefully, her flashlight cutting through the shadows. The attic was filled with boxes and old furniture covered in dust. As she moved objects aside, she discovered a small trunk, locked but worn. Beside it lay scattered papers yellowed with age. Maya's hands trembled as she opened the trunk. Inside were old letters, a faded photograph of a woman sitting by the lake, and a diary. Maya opened the diary carefully. The handwriting was elegant and precise. It belonged to a woman named Clara. She had lived in the house decades ago. The first pages talked about Clara's simple life. her love for the lake, and her quiet moments of happiness. But as Maya read further, the tone of the diary changed. Clara wrote about strange visitors, shadows near the lake, and a young man who disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Maya's heart began to race. The diary described fear, secrecy, and worry, but it also carried hope. Clara had kept careful notes, hoping someone might one day understand what happened. Maya realized that this house, which seemed abandoned and broken, had a story hidden deep within its walls. The sun began to set, casting golden light through the dusty windows. Maya lit a small lantern she had brought and sat on the floor, reading more of Clara's diary. Each page made her feel closer to the past. The house was not just wood and nails. It was a silent witness to life, mystery, and perhaps tragedy. As darkness fell, Maya decided to set up her sleeping area near the fireplace. She cleaned a small corner, placed her blanket on the floor, and arranged her supplies neatly. The night outside was quiet except for the occasional call of a bird or the rustle of the wind through the trees. Maya tried to sleep, but her mind was filled with thoughts of the diary and the lake. She wondered what had happened to the young man Clara mentioned. Was the story true? Or was it just a tale passed down through fear and imagination? She felt a strange connection to Clara, as if the woman's words were speaking directly to her, asking her to uncover the truth. Hours passed slowly. Every small sound, the creak of a floorboard, the tapping of a tree branch against the window, the soft lap of water at the shore, made Maya alert. But instead of fear, she felt determination. She knew that tomorrow she would begin exploring the lake and the surrounding area. She would find clues, understand the story, and perhaps bring closure to what had been hidden for so long. Maya finally closed her eyes, letting the calmness of the lake and the quiet of the house fill her mind. Sleep came slowly, but it came carrying dreams of adventure, mystery, and discovery. The house, once empty and forgotten, had found a new owner who was ready to listen, learn, and uncover its secrets. Maya would wake in the morning with a plan. The lake, the house, and the diary were just the beginning. She had no idea how much this small adventure would change her life, but she was ready to find out. For now, she let herself rest, surrounded by history, mystery, and the promise of discovery that awaited her at the first light of day. The first morning in the lake house arrived with soft sunlight spilling across the water. Maya awoke to the gentle sound of the lake lapping against the shore. She stretched and rubbed her eyes, still amazed that this old, weathered house was now hers. The house creaked slightly as if it were waking up with her, responding to her presence. After a quick breakfast, Maya decided to explore the property more carefully. She opened the windows in the living room to let in the fresh air. The view of the lake was even more beautiful than she had imagined. Mist hovered above the water, curling like small clouds, and the surrounding trees shone with shades of green that seemed almost magical. Birds chirped from the branches, and somewhere far off, the sound of a dog barking echoed. Maya stepped outside and walked along the edge of the lake. She noticed small footprints in the mud, some fresh, some older. The fresh ones puzzled her. Who could be visiting this abandoned house? She followed the trail cautiously, her heart beating faster with each step. The footprints led her to an old boathouse. Its wood was dark with age, and the roof sagged in the middle. Maya pushed the door, and it creaked open. Inside, she saw fishing equipment, a small rowboat, and old boxes stacked neatly against the walls. One corner caught her eye, a slightly raised floorboard hidden beneath dust and debris. With effort, Maya lifted the board. Beneath it was a small rusted lockbox. The lock had broken over time, and she was able to open it. Inside were several items wrapped carefully in cloth, old photographs, a necklace, and a folded note. Maya unfolded the note carefully. The words on the paper were written in a shaky hand. "The truth is under the lake." Maya's stomach tightened. She had read Clara's diary the night before, and now it seemed that the diary and this note were connected. Something important had been hidden here for a long time, something someone had wanted no one to discover. Maya examined the photographs. They showed a man and a woman smiling in the sun by the lake. The man looked familiar. He resembled the young man Clara had mentioned in her diary, Daniel. Maya held the necklace up to the sunlight. It was delicate, with a small charm shaped like a heart. She realized that these were not ordinary items. They belonged to someone who had been part of a life that ended in mystery. She carefully packed the lockbox and its contents into her backpack. She did not know exactly what to do yet, but she felt a growing determination to uncover the story. Something in her gut told her that she could not leave this unsolved. As the day passed, Maya explored the house further. She found another set of stairs leading to a small cellar. The entrance was hidden behind a loose cabinet in the kitchen. Inside the cellar, the air was cooler and damp, and the walls were lined with shelves that had held food and supplies long ago. She found more old jars, some broken, and several papers that seemed to be old receipts and letters. Among them, a folded newspaper clipping fell out. Maya opened it carefully. The headline read, "Young man missing near lake. Search continues." The story described a young man named Daniel who had disappeared from the town decades ago. His family had searched for him, but no trace was ever found. The article mentioned that the local authorities had investigated the lake and surrounding woods but had found nothing. Maya's heart raced. The diary, the lockbox, and now this newspaper. All signs pointed to a long-forgotten mystery waiting to be solved. Evening arrived, and Maya decided to make a small fire in the fireplace. She felt safer with light and warmth around her. Outside, the sun dipped behind the trees, casting long shadows across the lake. The air grew colder, and the wind carried soft whispers through the broken shutters. Maya could hear the faint creak of the house settling. That night, as she lay on the floor near the fireplace, Maya could not stop thinking about Daniel. Who was he? What had happened to him? And why had Clara written about him with such fear? She opened the diary once more and read passages about the stranger who had visited the house and about Clara's worries that someone dangerous had been involved. Her mind filled with questions. Could it be that Daniel's disappearance had something to do with Clara's fear? Had the lake held a secret for so many years that no one dared to uncover it? Maya's curiosity burned brighter with each passing minute. She knew she had to investigate further. Around midnight, Maya was awakened by a strange sound. It was soft at first, a tapping noise coming from upstairs. She froze, listening carefully. The tapping grew slightly louder, as if someone or something was walking across the wooden floor. Her heart pounded, but she forced herself to remain calm. She picked up her flashlight and moved carefully toward the staircase. The hallway was dark and narrow. Shadows danced on the walls as her flashlight beam moved slowly. She reached the top of the stairs and found the bedroom doors closed. The tapping had stopped. Maya exhaled slowly, trying to calm herself. Maybe it was just the house settling, she thought. Old houses made noises, especially at night. Still, she could not shake the feeling that she was being watched. She returned to her corner near the fireplace and sat with the diary open on her lap. To keep her mind occupied, she read more of Clara's writings. Clara had described many peaceful days by the lake, fishing and drawing sketches of the scenery. But then she wrote about an unknown figure who had come to the house late one night. Clara mentioned feeling a chill as though the figure's presence carried danger. Maya shivered. She remembered the note in the lockbox. The truth is under the lake. Her thoughts returned to the water outside. What could be hidden there? Was it the answer to Daniel's disappearance? Maya's curiosity overcame her fear. She promised herself that tomorrow she would start exploring the lake itself. She would not let this mystery remain unsolved. Hours passed slowly, and eventually, Maya drifted into a light sleep. Her dreams were filled with visions of the lake, Daniel, and Clara. She saw shadows moving beneath the water, faint shapes that seemed to tell her something important. In her dream, Clara appeared, smiling faintly as if encouraging Maya to continue. When Maya woke, sunlight streamed through the windows once again. She felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Today would be the day she began uncovering the hidden secret. She packed her backpack with the diary, the lockbox, and her flashlight. She also took a small notebook and pencil to record any discoveries. Maya walked to the edge of the lake. The water was calm, reflecting the sky above. She noticed something unusual, a small wooden dock partially hidden by reeds. It looked old and unused, yet there was something about it that drew her attention. She approached slowly, examining the planks. They creaked under her weight, but they seemed sturdy enough. She looked down at the water. The lake was clear near the dock, allowing her to see small fish swimming. But further out, the water darkened. Maya's heart beat faster. Could this be the place the note mentioned? Could the secret really be hidden beneath these waters? She carefully stepped back to plan her search, knowing that patience would be necessary to uncover the truth. Maya returned to the house to prepare ropes and small tools. She also considered borrowing a metal detector from the local town store. a tool that might help locate hidden objects beneath the soil or water. Her mind was busy with plans, and her excitement grew. This was more than just an adventure. It was a journey into the past, a chance to uncover a story that had been waiting decades to be discovered. As night fell again, Maya sat near the fireplace, looking at the lake through the window. The water was calm and dark, reflecting the stars above. She felt a strange connection to the house, the lake, and Clara's diary. Something important was waiting for her, and she knew that tomorrow would bring her closer to the truth. Maya smiled softly. She had never imagined that buying a small condemned lake house for $700 would lead her into such an adventure, but now she was ready. The first night had passed, and it had given her courage. She felt stronger, braver, and more determined than ever to uncover the mystery hidden beneath the lake's quiet surface. The next morning, Maya woke before sunrise. The first light of day glimmered over the lake, casting golden reflections across the calm water. She felt a sense of purpose stronger than ever. Today, she decided, she would begin searching for the hidden secret Clara had mentioned in the diary and the note. After a quick breakfast, Maya packed her backpack with essentials: the diary, the lockbox, a flashlight, a small notebook, and a pencil. She also brought gloves and a small shovel she had found in the boathouse. Her curiosity had grown into determination, and she was ready for the work ahead. Maya started along the shoreline, following the small dock she had discovered the previous day. The water was clear near the edge, and she could see tiny fish swimming near the reeds. The old dock creaked under her weight, but it seemed sturdy enough to support her search. She knelt near the water, scanning for anything unusual. Hours passed with careful examination. Maya discovered small stones that seemed out of place and small indentations in the mud along the shore. Each discovery made her heart race. She marked them carefully in her notebook. She was methodical, determined not to miss anything. While walking along the lake, she noticed a small patch of mud that looked disturbed. She knelt down, brushing away the wet soil with her hands. Beneath it, she uncovered part of a wooden crate, old and waterlogged, but clearly man-made. Her pulse quickened. This could be the first clue she had found. Maya used her gloves and small shovel to carefully dig around the crate. The work was slow, but she was patient. After several minutes, she managed to lift the crate out of the mud. It was heavy and damp, and the smell of the lake clung to it. She placed it on the shore and opened it carefully. Inside were several old items wrapped in cloth. A folded piece of paper fell into her hands. She unfolded it carefully and read the words written in a faded hand: "Find what has been hidden and you will know the truth." Maya's heart raced. The paper confirmed that she was on the right path. The crate also contained a small locket, tarnished with age, and a folded map of the lake and surrounding woods. The map was old, drawn with careful lines and marks. Maya noticed a small X near the deepest part of the lake. Her mind raced. Could this mark indicate the location of something hidden beneath the water? She felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. She had never imagined that her small adventure would lead to such a real discovery. Maya decided to take the crate back to the house for safekeeping. She carried it carefully, keeping her eyes on the path and the surrounding woods. The air was filled with the sounds of birds and the rustle of leaves, but occasionally, she thought she heard faint footsteps behind her. She paused and listened, but no one was there. Perhaps it was only her imagination, or perhaps the house and the lake were trying to warn her to be careful. Once back at the house, Maya placed the crate in the attic with the lockbox and her diary. She examined the map more closely. The X marked a location near the middle of the lake. It was difficult to reach by foot, but Maya had seen the small rowboat in the boathouse. She decided she would need it to explore the deeper part of the lake. As the day passed, Maya made careful plans. She would use the boat to reach the marked spot, but she would not go alone. She wrote a message for the local sheriff, explaining that she had found items related to an old missing person case. The sheriff had been surprised by her discoveries the previous day, and she hoped he could provide guidance or support when she explored the lake. Late in the afternoon, Maya decided to take a break. She sat on the porch looking at the lake as the sun began to set. The water reflected the orange and pink sky. The house stood quietly behind her, creaking gently with the evening wind. She felt a strange connection to this place, as though it was welcoming her, preparing her for what was about to happen. As darkness approached, Maya prepared for the night. She lit a small lantern in the main room and settled near the fireplace. The diary rested on her lap, and she reread Clara's writings about Daniel. Each page seemed more urgent now. The young man's disappearance had been a real tragedy, and now Maya had a real chance to uncover what had happened. Hours passed slowly. Maya listened to the sounds of the night, the occasional call of a bird, the distant rustle of the trees, and the soft lap of the lake against the shore. But then she heard a new sound, faint at first, like a whisper carried by the wind. She held her breath and listened. The sound seemed to come from the boathouse. Maya felt a thrill of curiosity mixed with caution. She decided to investigate. She grabbed a small flashlight and moved carefully toward the boathouse. The floorboards creaked beneath her feet. As she approached, the sound stopped. She paused at the entrance, shining her flashlight across the empty interior. The rowboat sat quietly, and the crate she had left outside earlier was gone. Maya's heart skipped a beat. Had someone moved it? Or had she imagined leaving it outside? She stepped inside the boathouse and examined the floor carefully. There were no signs of anyone entering, no footprints or marks. She realized she must have misplaced it in her own confusion. Still, the mystery of the lake seemed more real than ever. Something important was waiting to be found, and it would not be easy. Returning to the house, Maya felt both anxious and determined. She could not ignore the strange events surrounding the lake and the boathouse. It was as if the house itself was urging her to continue her search, to uncover the truth hidden beneath the water and in the shadows of the past. Maya spent the rest of the night preparing for the next day. She packed her backpack with the map, her notebook, the diary, and the lockbox. She planned to take the rowboat and reach the spot marked on the map. She knew that the journey would be challenging, but the possibility of discovering the hidden truth filled her with courage. Before sleeping, she looked out the window at the dark lake. The water reflected the moonlight, creating a path of silver across the surface. Maya felt a mixture of excitement and fear. The secret of the lake had been waiting for decades. Now it was her chance to uncover it. She promised herself that she would not stop until she had found the truth. Maya drifted into a light sleep, dreaming of the lake and its hidden secrets. She imagined herself rowing quietly toward the center, uncovering the chest that held the truth. She saw shadows beneath the water, shapes moving slowly, and felt the presence of the past reaching out to guide her. When morning arrived, the lake shimmered under the rising sun. Maya felt ready. Today she would begin her most important search. The house, the diary, the lockbox, and the old map had all led her to this moment. She took a deep breath, ready to face the unknown, and stepped toward the boathouse to prepare the boat. She did not yet know the full story, but she was determined to uncover it. The adventure had begun, and the secrets of the lake were waiting to be revealed. Maya felt a thrill of excitement as she pushed the boat into the water. The reflections of the trees and sky danced on the surface as she rowed toward the mysterious X marked on the map. The discovery of the crate had been only the beginning. What lay beneath the water could change everything. Maya's mind raced with questions, but she felt ready. She would find the answers no matter how long it took. The lake, the house, and the hidden secrets had chosen her to uncover the truth. And Maya was determined not to fail. Maya pushed the small rowboat into the calm waters of the lake. The morning air was crisp and the mist still hovered over the water, giving the lake an almost magical appearance. Her heart raced with anticipation. The map, the crate, and the diary had led her here, and now she was ready to uncover the hidden secret that had remained buried for decades. She climbed into the boat and took a deep breath, steadying her nerves. With careful strokes, she rowed toward the spot marked with an X on Clara's old map. The lake was quiet, almost eerily so. The occasional splash of a fish or the distant call of a bird was the only sound breaking the silence. The deeper she went, the darker the water appeared, reflecting the trees and sky above. After several minutes, Maya reached the location indicated on the map. She anchored the boat and examined the surface. The water looked calm and still, but her intuition told her that something lay beneath. She retrieved a small metal detector she had borrowed from the local store the day before. She had been practicing along the shoreline and felt confident she could use it in shallow areas of the lake. Maya stood carefully in the boat, scanning the water near the spot. The detector beeped faintly as it moved over an area slightly deeper than she expected. Her heart leapt. She leaned over and saw a small glint beneath the water. It looked like part of a wooden chest, covered in mud and algae. Her hands trembled with excitement and nerves. Using a long pole she had brought, she tapped the chest gently to loosen it. The water around it rippled softly. After several attempts, she managed to lift it enough to bring the chest closer to the boat. The wood was heavy and waterlogged, but she had prepared herself for the effort. Carefully, Maya pulled the chest into the boat. She placed it on the seat and examined it. The chest was old but intact. It had a rusted lock and the hinges were covered in moss and mud. Using a small tool from her backpack, she pried it open slowly. Inside, she discovered items that made her heart race with recognition and awe. The chest contained a delicate necklace, tarnished with age but clearly valuable. There were also photographs showing a young man and woman by the lake, smiling in the sunlight. Finally, there were papers that seemed to be part of an old legal document or diary. One of the documents bore the name Daniel. Maya's hands shook slightly as she realized the significance of the discovery. The chest had been hidden for decades and had belonged to the young man who disappeared so long ago. She examined the photographs carefully. One showed Daniel holding a fishing rod near the very spot where she had found the chest. Another showed Clara standing beside him, her expression a mixture of happiness and worry. Maya realized that Clara's diary had been real, and the events described had actually happened. The mystery was not just a story. It was a real-life event that had been hidden from the world. Maya knew she needed to document everything carefully. She took photographs of the chest, the items inside, and the map she had found earlier. She recorded notes in her notebook, detailing the exact location and the contents of the chest. This evidence would be important for understanding the story and for informing the authorities about what she had discovered. After careful examination, Maya decided to take the chest back to the house. She rowed slowly toward the shore, ensuring the chest remained secure. The journey was tense, but she felt a sense of accomplishment growing with each stroke of the oars. She had found the first piece of the secret that had been buried beneath the lake for decades. Once back at the house, Maya placed the chest on the large dining table. She cleaned the items carefully and examined the documents in more detail. The papers included notes about Daniel's disappearance, some letters between him and Clara, and other documents suggesting that people in the town had been involved in hiding the truth. Maya's mind raced with questions. Why had the chest been hidden in the lake? Who had wanted to keep the story secret? As she read the letters, Maya realized that Daniel had been threatened by someone in the town. Clara's diary mentioned a mysterious figure who often visited the house and seemed dangerous. The letters confirmed that Daniel had feared for his life and had trusted Clara to keep the truth safe. The chest in the lake was a way to protect the evidence from those who wanted it destroyed. Maya felt a mixture of awe and sadness. She imagined Daniel and Clara, young and full of life, caught in a situation beyond their control. The thought of a life interrupted by fear and secrecy made her determination grow stronger. She knew she had a responsibility to uncover the full story and bring it to light. She spent the rest of the day organizing the items. The photographs, letters, and necklace were placed carefully in the lockbox she had found earlier. Maya compared the information with Clara's diary, finding connections between the entries and the documents. It was clear that the diary, the chest, and the notes were all pieces of the same puzzle. Evening arrived, and the house felt alive with the presence of the past. The fireplace crackled gently, and the soft shadows on the walls seemed to reflect the events that had happened long ago. Maya felt a connection to Clara and Daniel, as if they were guiding her to uncover the truth. She knew she could not rest until she had pieced together the story completely. That night, Maya wrote a detailed note to the local sheriff. She explained what she had found, including the chest, the photographs, and the documents. She asked for advice on how to proceed safely and legally. She felt that involving the authorities was important, but she also knew that she had discovered a significant part of the secret on her own. After sending the message, Maya sat by the window, looking at the moonlight reflecting on the lake. The water was calm, but she felt the weight of the mystery she had uncovered. The chest had revealed the first tangible evidence, but she knew there was more to learn. The people who had hidden the truth had not revealed everything, and Maya felt certain that further investigation was necessary. Sleep came slowly, but Maya's dreams were filled with visions of the lake, Daniel and Clara. She saw the chest in the water, the documents spread across the table, and the shadows of the mysterious figure that had caused so much fear. Her dreams gave her new ideas for how to continue her investigation. When morning arrived, Maya woke with renewed energy. She planned to spend the day examining the documents more carefully and preparing for the next stage of her search. She felt a sense of responsibility to complete what Clara and Daniel had started. The lake, the house, and the hidden chest had given her an adventure that was far more meaningful than she had ever imagined. Maya knew that the secret she had discovered was only the beginning. The chest had revealed evidence, but the full story still remained hidden somewhere in the lake, the woods, and the memories of the town. She was determined to find the truth no matter how long it took, and to honor the courage of the people who had trusted her to uncover their story. With careful preparation, Maya arranged the items on a table by the fireplace. She made notes, organized the letters, and cross-referenced information from the diary and the chest. Every discovery seemed to connect to another, forming a story of courage, fear, and mystery that had been hidden for decades. Maya realized that her adventure had transformed from a simple curiosity into a mission of discovery. She was not only exploring the house and the lake, but also uncovering a story that had been forgotten and ignored. The weight of responsibility pressed on her, but it also filled her with determination. She knew that by finding the truth, she could bring peace to the memory of Daniel and Clara and reveal the story that had been silenced for so long. The lake house, once quiet and abandoned, had become a center of history and mystery. The chest beneath the water had revealed its secret, and Maya was ready to continue the search for the remaining truth. The adventure was far from over, and she felt a thrill of anticipation for the discoveries that awaited her. Maya knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, but she felt confident and prepared. The lake, the house, and the hidden chest had revealed the first layer of a story that demanded to be told. She felt a connection to the past, and she knew that she had been chosen to uncover the full secret hidden beneath the waters of the lake. The morning sun reflected off the lake, casting a golden glow over the water. Maya felt both excitement and nervousness. Today she planned to uncover the final piece of the mystery that had haunted the lake house for decades. The chest she had found, the diary, the letters, and the map had all led her to this moment. She packed her backpack carefully, making sure she had the diary, the lockbox, and the photographs. She also brought a small waterproof bag to carry any evidence she might find in the lake. Maya had borrowed a small diving mask and gloves from the town store. She had spent the last few days preparing, studying the map, and organizing the documents. Every step had brought her closer to understanding what had happened to Daniel and the people who had tried to hide the truth. Maya pushed the rowboat into the water and began rowing toward the center of the lake. The X marked on the map was just a short distance away, but the anticipation made the journey feel longer. The water was calm, reflecting the sky and the surrounding trees. Maya's eyes scanned the surface carefully, looking for anything unusual. When she reached the spot, she stopped and anchored the boat. She put on the diving mask and gloves and prepared to search underwater. The water was cool and clear near the surface, but she could see shadows of submerged objects deeper below. Taking a deep breath, she leaned over and began her search carefully. After several minutes, her fingers touched something solid beneath the mud. She brushed away the sediment and felt the corner of a larger wooden chest. Her heart raced. This had to be the main chest Daniel and Clara had tried to hide. She gripped it carefully, lifting it slightly. The water rippled around her as she brought it closer to the boat. Maya pulled the chest into the boat and placed it on the seat. She opened it slowly, revealing its contents. Inside were more letters, photographs, and a folded document sealed with wax. The letters included confessions and notes that revealed what had really happened years ago. Maya's hands trembled as she unfolded the document. The sealed paper described a plot by a few people in the town to cover up Daniel's disappearance. They had been afraid of the truth coming out and had tried to hide evidence in the lake. The letters explained Daniel's attempts to warn Clara about the danger, and Clara's own words revealed how she had hidden the first chest to protect the evidence. Maya realized the depth of the betrayal and fear that had surrounded this story for decades. Reading the documents, Maya understood that Daniel had been taken by people who wanted to control the town and its secrets. Clara had managed to save some evidence and hide it for years, hoping someone brave enough would one day uncover it. That person was now Maya. She felt a mix of sadness and determination. The injustice had lasted too long, and now she could help bring closure. Maya carefully packed the letters, photographs, and document into the waterproof bag. She returned to the shore with the rowboat, her mind racing with ideas about how to present the findings to the authorities. She knew the local sheriff had already been surprised by her earlier discoveries, but now she had proof of what had really happened. Back at the house, Maya spread out all the evidence on the dining table. The letters, the documents, and the photographs told a story that had been hidden for decades. She compared everything with Clara's diary, piecing together the timeline of events. It became clear that the disappearance of Daniel had been covered up by a few townspeople, but Clara had acted courageously to preserve the truth. Maya knew she had to act carefully. She photographed every item, recorded notes in her notebook, and made a list of the documents. She wanted to make sure nothing was lost or damaged. The evidence was fragile, but it held the key to solving the mystery that had haunted the lake and the town for decades. By mid-morning, Maya called the sheriff and explained that she had uncovered the main evidence of the long-forgotten case. She invited him to the lake house to review the documents and items. Within an hour, the sheriff arrived, accompanied by a deputy. They examined the evidence carefully. The sheriff's face showed both surprise and respect for Maya's efforts. "This is incredible, Maya," he said. "I never imagined anyone would find this. You have uncovered the truth that has been hidden for years. Daniel's family will finally know what happened thanks to your courage." Maya felt a sense of relief. She had done something important. The mystery that had caused so much fear, secrecy, and pain was now being revealed. She realized that her small adventure had transformed into a mission of justice and discovery. The sheriff took photographs of the items and collected the documents for the official investigation. Maya explained everything she had found, from the first crate to the chest in the lake, the letters, and the diary. The authorities promised to handle the evidence carefully and to inform Daniel's family about the findings. After the sheriff left, Maya sat on the porch, looking at the calm lake. The water sparkled in the afternoon sun. She felt proud of what she had accomplished. The house, the lake, and the hidden evidence had taught her courage, patience, and determination. She realized that sometimes the smallest actions could uncover the greatest truths. Days passed as the authorities investigated the case further. Maya helped by providing detailed notes and photographs. She also organized the items in the lake house carefully, keeping the chest and lockbox safe. Each day she felt a growing sense of connection to the past, to Clara and to Daniel. She had become part of their story, helping to complete the chapter that had been left unfinished for decades. Maya also began repairing the house more thoroughly. The old condemned lake house transformed slowly into a warm and inviting place. She painted the walls, fixed the shutters, and cleared the overgrown garden. Each improvement reminded her that the house had survived through the years, just like the truth had survived in hidden letters and chests. One afternoon, as Maya worked near the lake, a family from the town arrived. They were relatives of Daniel. The sheriff had invited them to see the house and the evidence. Maya welcomed them warmly and showed them the photographs, letters, and documents. The family was emotional, tears in their eyes as they finally understood what had happened to Daniel all those years ago. "Thank you, Maya," Daniel's sister said. "You have given us closure and peace. We cannot express how much this means to us." Maya smiled softly, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. She had come to the lake house for adventure, but she had discovered much more. She had uncovered a story of bravery, secrecy, and truth. She had connected with people from the past and helped bring justice to a life that had been hidden in the shadows for too long. The lake, once quiet and mysterious, now seemed peaceful. Its waters reflected the sunlight like a mirror, free from the shadows of the past. The house stood proudly by the shore, restored and filled with light. Maya often sat on the dock, watching the ripples in the water, feeling a connection to the past and a sense of accomplishment. As the weeks passed, Maya continued to organize the evidence and maintain the house. She also began writing her own journal, documenting her experiences and discoveries. She wanted to remember every detail, every emotion, and every lesson learned. The lake house had given her an adventure that she would carry with her for the rest of her life. Maya knew that her story would inspire others to be brave, curious, and determined. Sometimes the smallest actions could uncover the greatest secrets. Sometimes one person's courage could bring justice and closure where years of silence had existed. Maya felt proud to have been that person. The lake house, once condemned and forgotten, had found a new purpose. It was no longer just wood and nails. It was a place of history, courage, and discovery. The secrets that had been hidden beneath the water were now revealed, and the story of Daniel, Clara, and the town could finally be told. Maya smiled as she sat on the dock, the sun setting over the lake. She had come for adventure, but she had found truth, justice, and a connection to the past. The lake house, the diary, the chest, and the evidence had all led her to this moment. She knew that she had changed, grown, and learned more than she had ever imagined. The house and the lake had secrets, but they had also given her courage, wisdom, and the knowledge that even the smallest action could make a difference. Maya felt ready for the future, knowing that she had uncovered a story that had waited decades to be revealed. She had discovered the truth beneath the lake, and with it, she had found her own strength and determination. Maya looked at the calm water, the reflections of the trees, and the house she had restored. She knew that the lake house would always hold a special place in her heart. It was not just a home or an adventure. It was a story, a mystery, and a lesson in courage, patience, and discovery. Maya smiled, feeling complete. The truth had been revealed, the mystery solved, and the lake house had become more than just a house. It was a symbol of hope, discovery, and the power of one person's determination to uncover the hidden secrets of the past.